Not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Your organization's terrible. Let's go. Go ahead. Quiet. Quiet. Go ahead. She's asking a question. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
Are you going to include the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional
Well, I
Hispanic
would. I
Caucus?
tell you what. Do you want to set up the meeting? Do you want to set up the meeting?
No.
Are they friends of yours?
Just a reporter.
No, set up the meeting.
I know some of them, but I'm sure
Let's
they're
go. Set up a
watching right
meeting. I would love to meet with the Black Caucus. I think it's great.
And we had the most beautiful piece of chocolate cake that you've ever seen. And President Xi was enjoying it. And I was given the message from the generals that the ships are locked and loaded. Look, he's a showboat. He's a grandstander. The FBI has been in turmoil. You know that. I know that.
And I love all people, rich or poor. But in those particular positions, I just don't want a poor person. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? This is a long time ago. Sold his company for a tremendous amount of money. And he went out and bought a big yacht. And he had a very interesting life. I won't go any more than that because you're Boy Scouts, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. Should I tell you? Should I tell you? Oh, you're Boy Scouts, but you know life. You know life. North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
I found there's like a book that's titled Fire and Fury that talks about Trump's presidency. And I've heard that it's actually a pretty good book. And I saw it the other day and I thought about getting it and then I didn't.
Wasn't it by a New York Times reporter?
I believe so. Yeah. I have heard that it's not bad. It's actually a decent accounting of his presidency. I don't know. Haven't.
Well, we'll never get the tell-all from Diamond and Silk because one of them have passed away.
Yes. Sad day.
Oh. How am I supposed to cram all this in this little tiny ass envelope?
Was it from the treatment that she?
What?
Was it from the treatment that one of those two passed, or?
Oh no, just old heart disease. I guess.
Okay.
People still
Which,
can
I
die
mean,
of old age, Steve. It's allowed.
I'm sorry?
I said people can still die of old age.
Well, yeah, I just didn't think she was that old.
What's old though? Like,
I mean, they weren't exactly like the most fit people, so I mean, it's possible. Why are we talking about Diamond and Silk? Jeez.
You brought it up, man. That's all
I just got a throwaway joke. I don't have like a diatribe about it.
We're expecting that anybody that throws something out there is able to go for a full 10 minutes on it. Just
be able to BS your way through it.
That's what I do most of the time.
It is an art.
It is an art.
So I am, as we were talking about before the show started, we'll just let everybody in on. I am currently packaging up all of the medical statements that I've gotten from the person who is not me. In a little case of mistaken identity that has not affected me too terribly up to this point, but it had some real potential at one time. There is another guy in the state of Indiana whose name is also Justin Campbell, who shares my birthday.
Poor guy.
And yeah. So I started getting like a bunch of statements from my insurance, and I don't ever look at it because I don't really think anything of it. And Stephanie thought some of it was like tax forms that we needed for filing our taxes. So she opened it and she was like, "Have you been going to therapy?" I was like, "No, I number one, I am adamantly against any sort of therapy." And then I looked at it, I was like, "This is physical therapy. This isn't even like," and I definitely haven't been going to physical therapy. And so then I had some others that I had sitting on my desk from like the past few weeks that I hadn't opened because I didn't think anything of them. And so I opened them and started looking at them. It's like all kinds of stuff there was like a minor heart surgery and all kinds of like doctor's visits and stuff. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So
You're living a double life, Justin.
yeah, I think I would have remembered the heart surgery. So like I called my insurance. I'm like, hey, not that I'm like mad that all of my deductibles have been met for the year, but literally in February, but I haven't had any heart surgery. I was like, the last time I even went to like get a checkup was in April of last year, and that was just because Stephanie made me because I wasn't feeling good.
Surprised they didn't say we're dropping you because you're not going to see a doctor regularly.
I was like, I'm happy somebody's using my insurance because I sure as hell aren't. But like these definitely aren't me. Well, so they go digging into it and they find out that it's this other guy in Indiana whose name is also Justin Campbell that has the exact same birthday as me. And apparently, on top of all of that, his insurance policy plan is like within a few numbers off, like a couple of numbers and letters different. So, and like he also has his insurance through Blue Cross Blue Shield or whatever. So we get all of this like sorted out. And so I've got to send like all this stuff back and everything. It's like I've got all kinds of shit for this guy that don't belong to me. And it's like information or personal information and HIPAA and all of that stuff. So like I've got to either package all this shit up and send it back, or I have to like sign a letter that says that I destroyed it, and so there's no evidence, like it doesn't exist anymore. Like this is fucking nuts. But so when I went,
you should bill them for doing their office work.
When I went to interview for my current job, I work for a liquor company, and they have a very, very strict, like, if you've had anything drinking related on your record, you cannot work for the company. Like, they do not tolerate that. If you get a DUI, you get fired immediately. Like, no chance of coming back. Like, they take this stuff very seriously. So when I was doing my application and stuff and going through the whole interview process, like, I'm just waiting to get hired on and like the final background checks and stuff. And I get a call from the recruiter that I'd been talking to through the whole thing. She's like, so we've got a problem. You've got a DUI. I said, the fuck I do. You better go check that again. And she's like, was shook. She was like, what? I said, I have never had a DUI. So I don't know what you found on your background.
Never taught me.
But it was fucking wrong. So go do it again. And like I guess she was not expecting that retort. I was like, I have never had a DUI. So they find out that there's this other guy in Indiana whose name is Justin Campbell with my birthday. And it's like fucking nuts. So when they reran the background check using,
I wonder if the therapy's related.
Yeah, maybe.
that was something that I was told my wife. I was like, you know what? I wonder if this is the same guy. I bet the heart problems might have something to do with the DUI, and it sounds like he might have some other issues going on. Yeah. So that's my crazy life. How are y'all doing?
The only drawback is now your deductible is not met, and you're not going to be able to get like discounts on all those implants.
That's what I told Stephanie. That's what I told Stephanie. I was like, I should have taken advantage of this and had like rotator cuff surgery because my shoulder has been giving me problems for years. And like all of the deductibles are already met for the year. I should have gone. I should have gone and got some shit done. She was like, "You're not going to do that anyway." I was like, "Yes, you're right. I'll just keep going until this fucking thing falls off." But
a girl can dream, right?
It was a nice idea there for a minute. So anyway, that gives me a good out. Like if I ever like run for public office or something, and they're like, "Oh, look, Justin Campbell says this and this and this." I'm like, "No, that's that other degenerate one in Indiana."
That's the other one.
Like, that's the doppelganger me. That's not the real me. Like you got to run my social security number to figure out which one is actually right.
It says here you embezzled a bunch of money and killed some hookers. Nah, other guy.
Other guy. That was totally not me.
No, man, they would welcome him in. It's the government. They would it'd be like, "Hey, you're one of us."
We have had some conversations about like if you're in like a deep blue part of a state or county or whatever, and you want to actually affect change in your local government, run as a Democrat, be just like as fucking psychotically progressive as possible. Or depending on your like, you might. So there are like a lot of districts where the psychotically progressive ones are starting to get pushed back against. So just go in as a Democrat and be moderately psychotically progressive instead of all the way. And then all the Democrats are like, oh, this guy's not a total psychopath. He's just like a normal Democrat like the rest of us. And then when you get in, just go full on like Hitler and, take over. But,
you don't want to have
and get yourself in first.
You don't have another Dixiecrat renaissance.
The goal of the game is to win, not to play fair.
Yeah. Yep. I had a friend that lived up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and the only way he could vote and do any effective change was he had to register as a Democrat because everybody up there is Democrats. So to vote in the primary, you vote for the weakest person, what he would do. So he registered as a Democrat to do that. And we've talked about it a couple times. It was kind of fun, but.
Well, speaking of, Nikki Haley finally picked up her
one state.
She got two. Technically, she got two wins. She won Washington D.C., which doesn't count. Like
where all the neocons live,
right? And then she ended up winning Vermont like very, very narrowly. And Vermont is one of those states that has the open primary where, so it from the initial looking at it, it seems like all of the Democrats just like to vote for Nikki Haley on in Vermont and help her. Like, I mean, by the narrowest of margin, it was maybe 2 points, I think, is what she ended up winning. But Trump just absolutely blasted her across the board in every other state, like not even close. Like he doubled her up in pretty much every single state.
Well, in Michigan, he got almost 70%.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers. Dude, funny story. My buddy yesterday went to vote in the primary, and he lives in a very, very blue area of Nashville. And he walks in, it's your typical, poll workers. Anyway, so he walks in. They're like, "Oh, what party are you going to be voting for?" And he tells them, and like everyone immediately just because he said he was going to be voting Republican, and they immediately just hand him the ballot. No one would make eye contact or talk to him after that.
And then they put it in the paper shredder instead of the counter.
That's what I told them. They probably did, yeah.
Right. Say it's none of your. Well, I guess you can't say it. See, that's what sucks about.
That's the primary. I don't know, man. I think the primary should be
primary
closed.
States because, like in Indiana, in Kentucky, like you have to be pre-registered. Like you go in, and when you put you give them your name, and they give you like the little card or whatever that you put in the fucking voting machine so that you can punch the button. It's already got you set up. Like if you're registered as a Republican, then you put it in and it gives you the Republican primary. Then you vote for that. You don't have the option to pick which one are you voting for today. Like you've made that selection previously. Which I think I've talked about that before, but like you don't walk in and tell them, am I voting for the Democrats or am I voting for Republicans today? And some of them have the electronic ballot thing where you do go in, and when you get to it, you pick it. Like you don't have to tell a poll worker which side you're voting for. You just give them your name and they hand you the thing, and then you go decide which side you're voting for. And I guess if they're doing a paper ballot, it's different.
Yeah, I think
here
the open primary.
I think here they do give you you have to tell them which, but also it's the electronic too, because I guess they're giving two different forms. I could be wrong though. That's just how he described it to me yesterday. I've never voted in a primary down here.
Interesting.
I didn't bother voting in the primary.
I mean, unless you've got a good state representative who is being challenged by a bad one, or you've got a bad one that you're trying to get out and put a good one in their place. Like there's no reason necessarily to vote in a primary. And like the primary is for deciding like local elections and state stuff. And like, I don't know. It depends on the situation. Like I didn't vote in the primary this year because there's no reason for me to. Like I can't.
Yeah. There was nobody in Michigan, in my area of Michigan, that was on the ballot. That was nobody challenging the status quo. Let's put it that way.
I went to bed early last night. I heard rumors there was going to be a runoff in Texas for House of Representatives. I don't know if you guys know who the AK guy is, Brandon Herrera. He's basically running in San Antonio to get out this like open borders Republican. And I think he like snagged enough of the votes that they're gonna have to do a runoff. At least that was a rumor before I went to bed. Yeah, whatever that district is for San Antonio.
Yeah, I don't
He's
know.
basically
I haven't been
YouTuber
following
running on
any of the
closed borders and
primary,
guns.
like the hard primary stuff. I know that they were going after. Was it Massey they were going after?
Yeah, good luck. That guy's loved there.
Yeah, they'll have about as much success going after Massey as they would going after Mitch McConnell. Like that's one of those like sorry, it's not happening. Even if he was bad, they wouldn't have a chance. Like McConnell is a staple. He'll only leave whenever he decides to retire. And Massey is a staple. Like it doesn't matter what they do, they're not getting rid of him.
Yeah, thank God. He's one of the only ones in there.
All right, got to bounce, fellas. Nice talking to you.
Have a good one.
Later.
I do have something here. This great presentation from the ATF. If my computer wants to work, I might have to send this to you. My computer's acting wonky.
Oh yeah, I was trying to find what Josh was talking about in Texas. The Brandon Herrera is going to a runoff with Tony Gonzalez, so that's impressive. I guess usually I don't know how I wasn't paying attention to this race running up or leading up to it, but typically the way it goes is there's more than two candidates, and so if it's within a certain percentage, then it'll go to a runoff. If no candidate receives more than 50% of the vote, then they'll drop everybody except for the top two, and then it'll go to a runoff.
Okay.
Looking at it, there's still a chance he ends up losing in the runoff just based on looking at the total number of votes versus how many.
Well, we know that all the elections are so free and so fair.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a good chance. It'll be
That'd
interesting. It'd be good to get a pro open border piece of shit out of there.
Yes, it would be. So our wonderful ATF firearms experts don't even know how to put guns together here.
So that's the frame.
It's a Glock, man. It's like the easiest gun to break down ever in the entire world. That's the head of our ATF.
He's more into the alcohol and the tobacco side of stuff. He's not a big fan of the firearm.
So basically, what they do is they make this part.
He contracts that
This
part
is
out.
like plastic.
This is the plastic piece with about 20 minutes of work. They could make it into a working firearm, and then they could buy the aftermarket parts and simply attach that on.
Oh,
Those
Simply.
parts. Is there any serial number and tracing of?
They're still on the ghost gun bullshit.
If you're selling,
Yes, they're still on the so-called ghost guns,
Wow.
which there's nothing ghosty about them. They're dark. They're too dark to be ghosts.
Let's say, hold on, back to the. I wasn't done with Super Tuesday yet. There's.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let's go to Super Tuesday. Was that? Just this last Tuesday?
That was yesterday.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I didn't.
That's what we were talking about. The primary.
Well, let's talk about Super Tuesday then. I didn't think we were talking politics.
Well, it was Super Tuesday. Obviously, we got to this.
Okay, let's do it.
This has got. I'm having trouble believing that this Brooklyn Dad Defiant isn't actually like a. So Dag and I have talked about it before. Like I can't remember if it's either the other 98% or there's another one of them. There's some of these like big, like super progressive accounts that the more stuff they post, the more I'm like, is this a troll? Like, is this a long con troll of the left? Because they just get progressively more insane and more fucking stupid.
No, I just think they're that retarded.
Whether it seems like it's actually a comedic parody of progressivism. And this, it's like, I'm starting to feel that way about Brooklyn Dad Defiant. He goes, Folks are trying
She
to
didn't pull
say,
up a Dennis account.
no, this is the real one. See where it says, see where over here it says blocked. I have the real one blocked.
Okay.
So that's how I know that these aren't Dennis accounts, because I actually have the real ones blocked. This is him like jerking off Joe Biden. He crushed Super Tuesday. He averaged 80% in the states, while his weak ass Republican opponent averaged 60%. Don't let anybody tell you the results don't matter. There was another article that was like, Joe Biden wins 13 states on Super Tuesday. It's like, he ran unopposed. The fact that he averaged 80% running unopposed is kind of fucking embarrassing. That means 20% of his base was like deliberately voted for either nobody, or like deliberately voted for.
You got to take at least 10% that voted for Nikki Haley. Like you got to account for that 10%, and I think it's the 20.
They don't count towards the Democrat side. The Democrat side of it, like of the people who voted for a Democrat, only 80%. Like literally the only guy. Like, okay, I guess Marianne Williamson is technically on the ballot.
I like her. She's fun.
She is definitely an interesting character. I don't dislike her for a piece of shit Democrat. What was it? American Samoa. Biden lost American Samoa to some dude named Tony Palmer or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Like, I don't know.
What do you think of Bobby the Op? RFK. I mean, come on. He's CIA. He's like so CIA.
I don't have a particularly strong opinion of him one way or the other. If he were the Democrat candidate, I would be inclined to vote for him just as a fuck you to the system. But as an independent candidate or a third party candidate or whatever, he has no appeal. Like if he were allowed to participate in the primaries and to actually like, if the DNC had done this properly and allowed candidates to run and not just basically said from the get-go, it will beat Biden and nobody else, and we don't fucking care what you say, that like this is what we're doing. If they had actually let it be an open primary and do it the right way, then cool. I think he would have had impact. But as soon as it became clear that they weren't going to let RFK even get a sniff at challenging Biden, then it became a moot point. And
I mean, look what they did to Sanders.
From that point forward, everything that he's done is just to kind of build his own brand. I don't feel like it's like the presidential campaign side of it is a farce. Look
what they did to Sanders. Like, I mean, he had that thing in the bag. He had that, and they stole it from him.
Multiple times he had it.
Well, what was it? The year was when Obama won, right? Or no? Was it? Yeah, it was when Obama won. Didn't he have it? Like, or maybe it was a time before that.
It was. I think Obama was pretty secure both of his times. It was when Hillary ran. It was between him and Hillary, and they basically just like paid him off to go away because he was legitimately challenging Hillary, and they had already decided that Hillary was going to be the candidate. So they more or less
all the superdelegate crap came out, right?
Right. Okay. He would have won if it was just like a normal delegate count, but that was where the super delegate thing came in, and then they basically just paid him off to like go away. And then he comes back in 2020, and they effectively do the same thing to him in 2020. Like they decided after it became apparent that Kamala Harris absolutely sucked dick, and not just in the literal sense, they once they had to get rid of her and move on from her, then they effectively decided, okay, if it's not going to be Kamala, then it's going to be Joe Biden, and then they railroaded Bernie again. I can't believe.
Did they railroad him, or did he go back for another payoff? Because I mean, like Pavlov's dog, you train him, you ring the bell, and you get the treat. So he went back in to get that treat again. Because
if you ask the Bernie Bros, the true believers, he got railroaded. And I can't believe, like I know several of those and talked to those types. I can't believe that they voted for Biden. Like That's what makes the 2020 election make even less sense. Is
They didn't, man.
I know
they
a lot
voted
of
for Trump.
I know a lot of the Bernie bro types,
Mhm.
and they were staunchly opposed to voting for Biden. Like,
Yeah.
when Bernie got railroaded for a second time in a row, they were not going to vote for the Democrat. They were going to vote for literally anything else but a Democrat. So that's what makes the 2020 election seem even more suspicious.
Yes. Yes.
Let's see. The only other Super Tuesday. Oh, speaking of Biden, he had some comments following his commanding victory on Tuesday.
Oh, I bet this is fun.
I have a lot of questions. Better not start the questions. I'll get in trouble.
What's your message for Super Tuesday voters? Everyone, please move this way. Super Tuesday said, do you have a message for voters? Thanks. Come on.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
God, he has no clue where he's at.
It's just so like awkward and embarrassing. And
who's going to get him in trouble? Like, who's he going to get in trouble from? Why is not one reporter asking that question? Like,
right? What do you mean you're going to get? Who are you getting in trouble with? Like,
yeah.
What are they worried that you're going to say? Literally anything. Like every time he opens his mouth, it's just. But yeah, there were some others. There was one. I lost it. There was one video clip of him like just getting like completely unhinged because Trump was basically sweeping his way through the Super Tuesday primaries, like winning everything. Like I said, I mean everything except for Vermont. Trump just resoundingly won. And there was a video of Biden just like losing his shit because Trump was winning every single state. It was insane. Although Trump did have a pretty massive Super Tuesday fuck up. It's not being talked about a whole lot, probably because of the candidate on the other side of it. But does this North Carolina Republican sound like Martin Luther King on steroids to you? You won't believe this. This guy, so this is a Republican candidate for governor that won his primary in North Carolina yesterday. And Trump referred to him as Martin Luther King on steroids. This guy is resoundingly anti-civil rights movement. Like, he has been very staunchly Martin Luther King was a subversive. The civil rights movement set the black community back decades.
Oh, he's honest.
Yeah, like he is super honest. They're like a lot of the left-wing media outlets call this dude like a neo-Nazi because he talks about stuff in ways that we would agree with. It's like he's legit, and Trump referred to him as Martin Luther King on steroids, and now he's like pissed off. Like, that's yeah,
the dude's pissed off.
He's not going to be accepting a Trump endorsement.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had somebody better than Trump. We just unfortunately don't.
Well, Trump's like just an average boomer. Like, he thinks telling a black person that you're like Martin Luther King on steroids
is a compliment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think? Have you been listening to any of the PayPal Mafia stuff that Erickson's been talking about?
No. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't been listening to a lot of the stuff they've been doing.
And I'll probably butcher this, but because
we had talked about it. We had talked about it. So me and Matt, Don, and several others, we did a couple different episodes of it on my show a little over a year ago. We did the New Right parts 1 and 2. We covered a couple different articles.
Those, I think.
So like we had talked about it before. So I haven't looked a whole lot into it because I kind of already know a lot about that kind of clique. And
if he does pick Vivek, it's going to be like, hey, look, you go out, you're the figurehead. You go out, you play golf. You do the speeches, you be the funny man, and we'll run the show. Which I think would be kind of brilliant, but we'll see. But yeah, it's interesting to watch that and his take and the take you're starting to see on that group trying to basically set up a parallel economy is very interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the most important aspect of the 2024 election is that influence and power structure that's going on there. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, as much as I'm not looking forward to the election because I get like 25 texts a day asking if I'm going to give money to Republicans, which I won't give any money to them. It's interesting to watch the whole thing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see how they fortify this time around. So
we've had this conversation before. I'm not sure if they do. I don't see the benefit of it. But
and I go back and forth on this.
I had this conversation with my kids yesterday. I was like, are the Democrats stupid or are they smart? Because if they're smart,
the answer is yes on both.
If they're smart, they see the writing on the wall and they understand that this whole greatest economy ever that Biden keeps talking about is actually just a giant balloon waiting to pop. And it's very close to popping, probably within the next 18 to 24 months. 36 to 48 if we're lucky. Or maybe that's if we're unlucky. I think the sooner the better on that. But this whole thing is about to blow up in our faces. So do you want to be the one who's standing there holding the bag when the whole world goes to shit? Or do you want to be the one who's standing on the sidelines that gets to go, hey, look, see how they fucked it up? Now you should put us in charge and let us fix it. See, so are the Democrats smart? And if they're smart, then they let Trump win. They let the Republicans take the Senate. They let the Republicans maintain the House. And then you roll into 2025, 2026, 2027 when the whole thing blows up.
Yeah.
And it all blows up in their face with the Republicans being the ones who are holding the bag. And you could say, look how they fucked it up, even though it's been like years of liberal policy that's done it. They get to be the ones who sit there and say, look how they fucked it up. It all blew up with them in charge. Now you need to put us back in charge. Or do they do it the dumb fucking way and win this year? And then they're the ones who are in charge when the whole thing blows up. Like,
win? you mean win?
Yes, win.
I go back and forth on it. I don't know which way they're going to go. Like, because just the absolute, the way they've lost their mind, and we can pull up the stuff with Keith Olbermann, but the way they've just absolutely lost their minds over this man, like, it's fascinating because he didn't do anything. Like, he literally did nothing. I think what he did is he slowed down their plans, and that's why they lost it. But like, his policies are not that different than Clinton's policies. Like, I just don't understand why they went why they lost it so hard over this man.
Yeah, TDS is a legitimate disease. It's a brain bug.
Yes. Did you see? Here, let me pull this up. Did you see about one of the government stenographers she got held for contempt of court for not revealing one of her sources. You know who Catherine Herridge is? She's a reporter. I think she worked for Fox for a while, but then she's on NBC now. But she was doing the story, and she refused to reveal her source, and they found her in contempt of court. But what I think this whole thing is that they're going to get rid of Jean-Pierre whatever clown face chick, and then they're going to make her.
Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, they're going to make this. They're going to make her the spokeshole for the administration. They're just boosting her name out there for a minute. Where'd you go?
I'm here. Sorry, I got to looking around. I was like, "Where is?" Anyway, I've been out here for a while.
For your sword?
Huh?
You looking for your sword?
I've been out here in the garage for a while this morning. We had the kids went back to their mom's last night instead of coming back here. That's why I'm here in the garage instead of on the road today. And so it's been a weird day. Anyway, already I hadn't even got going good. But anyway, let's see.
Where's some
what else?
old one and stuff?
Oh,
That was
we
fun.
had the Supreme. We didn't get to talk about the Supreme Court thing.
Oh yeah, 9-0.
Speaking of Super Tuesday and everything else, Supreme Court unanimously rejects attempts to ban Trump from ballots over the January 6th Capitol riot. Unanimously, all 9, including the liberal justices.
Yeah.
All 9 said that the states can't keep him off of the ballot. That's insane. Or I mean, not insane. That's the correct decision, but I can't believe that even the liberal justices sided with got it right.
So some of the stuff I've heard, like in the conspiracy world, is that they did this so that Biden will stack the court. Like this was the final blow for Biden to stack the court. But I haven't heard anything from the administration. They've been really quiet on this. They've been super quiet on this one.
Well, without taking the House and Senate, they can't stack the court. So they're kind of fucked in that.
This is true. This is true.
Biden cannot executive order add additional seats to the Supreme Court. Like that has to be done through congressional approval. So again, that'll go back to, are they stupid or are they smart? Do they want to go for full on power grab and seize control and try to stack the court? But even if they do that, it's like the difference in the House is significant. Like they're not making up the Democrats cannot make up the difference in the House in one election. It would be at least 28 probably before they would be able to flip enough seats to take the House and the Senate. So like that poses problems in whatever. Like that's why I don't get too worked up about like when people get on, oh my God, they're going to stack the courts, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. It's like there's still steps that have to be taken, and like that can't just be unilaterally done through executive order. They still have to, and if they don't do it the right way, if they do try to pull some like illegal, unconstitutional bullshit, the current iteration of the Supreme Court would shoot that down for one, or number two, like that's grounds for legitimate insurrection. Like that's a violation of confidence. Not that our confidence hasn't already been violated, but like that would be like Civil War type stuff.
So I didn't have time to look up this. Do you remember the bill that was going through about they were calling the border security bill? Remember that bill that went through and then lost in the Senate recently?
Yeah.
Okay. So Chuck Schumer came out. This is like one of the best stories out there that nobody's talking about. Chuck Schumer came out and he's like, "Oh, the Republicans shot this down. Trump somehow Trump has control over Congress. You know, Schumer voted against his own bill that he wrote. He was the final vote. He voted against it because his vote would have passed it or killed it. He voted against it just so they could have the issue. And literally nobody's talking about this.
Like Schumer voted against
Schumer voted against that bill. Him and Oh, the Indian, what's her name? The fake Indian, Warren, Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, Elizabeth Warren.
They both voted against the bill, and now they're blaming Trump for.
Why did they vote against it? Because it didn't have enough Ukraine funding in it?
No, so they could have the issue. Just so they could have the issue.
So would it have passed without them or with
Yes,
them?
it would have it would have passed
If they had voted?
because all the Republicans voted for it because it was war money. Yeah, they voted against the damn bill.
Perfect. That's so perfect.
I gotta find that. I gotta find the article on it. But I was listening to No Agenda and they were talking about it. But yeah, Schumer was one of the final votes, and his vote would have passed it had he voted for it because it lost by like 1 or 2 votes. It was him and Warren were the last 2 votes counted were him and Warren. So I found that interesting. And that border security bill had nothing to do with the border. They stripped all the border stuff out. It was only funding for wars for Israel and Ukraine. It literally had no money going to the border at all.
Yeah, I knew.
Actually, no, it did have money going to the border, but it was going to all the NGOs that are smuggling the people in the border. It had no border security at all involved.
Securing the border or anything related to like putting more, like nothing about building a wall, nothing about actually like putting up barbed wire, securing the border, razor wire, nothing like that.
50
it was all yeah, it was all bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing was a joke. And how like it shows you that the corporate press, the media has like literally no interest in telling the truth.
I mean,
sorry, I told you Angry Steve was coming out today.
Trying to see if we got anything else of particular interest. I know that we got a couple like Florida man type stories, but I want to hold those for Dag on Friday because like
I couldn't.
If we're gonna talk Florida shit, I want Dag to be here for the Florida shit. Like we got the University of Florida firing all their DEI employees, Miami's breaking up with spring break. Like these are all fun topics, but we need the Florida man himself here for those. Like I want Dag's take on breaking up with spring break, especially. So we'll shelve those for Friday's show. Oh, what was I thought there was
looking for.
Oh, are you a drinker? You like?
No, not anymore.
Libations?
I did very much for a long time. That's why I don't do it anymore.
Well, this may not apply to you, but long COVID could be the reason that your hangovers are so bad.
Sorry. Okay, go on.
I can't.
It's not the fact that you drank a fifth; it's the fact that it's long COVID's fault.
Right?
Could it
because of
be
long COVID? That's why. Oh my God, my hangovers are so much worse now than they used to be 5 years ago. It's got to be because of COVID. No, it's because you're 5 years fucking older.
Because you're older and more out of shape than you were.
But you're still drink like you used to. Like, calm the fuck down.
So I do have something here. This happened in Michigan just a day ago. We had a gigantic fireworks.
Overnight, massive explosions lighting up the sky in Michigan, causing a massive factory fire at an industrial site about 25 miles outside Detroit.
We've got multiple explosions and a lot of debris in the air.
Authorities say the blaze erupted at a plant which distributes vape products and other items in Michigan's Clinton Township. Debris projected into
This is
the
probably
air,
10 minutes
traveling
from my
as far as
folks'
a
house.
mile away. As canisters became projectiles, residents were asked to avoid the area, stay inside, and close windows.
I want any people standing around videotaping in their cars that are anywhere near the station cleared out immediately.
See, and this is the problem with these fucking vapes, as opposed to like regular cigarettes. You never see anybody around a cigarette plant that catches on fire. Everybody just feels real good and gets a good cough going. Like
Yeah.
You get these vapes exploding, or these vapes catch on fire, and now you've literally got explosives going off.
So here's the crazy part. They distributed vapes, but they also did those like fireworks in part of the factory. And there were those CO2 cartridges that they use for I forgot what they were using it for.
Paintball and racers.
Yeah, the paintball stuff. So anyways, one of those exploded, shot a quarter mile, and killed somebody.
Nice.
Like it hit somebody in the back of the head and killed them.
Imagine you're just walking down the road, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden you're fucking dead because a canister from a factory or a plant that blew up a quarter mile away comes flying through the air and takes you out.
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. It's insane. But I mean, the fire went on all night, like totally burned down. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. The vape stuff, I don't understand how people do the vape. I tried one once, and it was like, oh, just for one, it tasted gross. Like it was just disgusting.
If you're gonna smoke, be a man about it and smoke a real fucking cigarette.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, then
Dad.
they have like
Sorry,
then
Dad.
they have like the fruit flavored ones. Like the hell, like it's like flavored coffee. Not just because I'm a coffee person, but like I don't want my coffee to taste like a creme brulee or like, you know, just coffee flavored coffee. Do you remember that Dennis Leary?
I've got a canister back there next to that little. See the little coffee maker back here.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a little canister of coffee back there, and it's like a Marciano cherry flavored coffee, and it's really good. But it's like it's one of those things that like I don't drink it regularly. Like it's like a dessert coffee type of a thing. Like it's not like my daily coffee.
Here's the deal with that stuff. Like, it's not a flavoring. It's just this chemical they spray on it that's a perfume that makes you think that you're drinking a flavor. It's really all it is. So buy the syrup if you're going to do that. The syrups are way better for you. So plus they're not all just chemicals. Sorry, it's me being the coffee person. So, but
all right. Well, speaking of buying different flavored shit, Doritos has got all kinds of different brands and flavors. I wonder what the brand this thing will be advertising or promoting is going to taste like.
Ser perfecta no es fácil, pero te acabas acostumbrando.
No soy nada de eso. O sea, te falta. No soy perfecta. Estoy súper orgullosa de mí, de ser totalmente quien yo soy y no oprimirme por nada del mundo.
¿Te pasa mucho que te toman por el pito del sereno?
Siempre. Estaba en clase.
Ladyboy?
Mi profesor directamente ni me han
Yeah,
Ladyboys?
I don't think that one is
porque es una carrera
questionable,
muy
but no, I don't believe that one.
¿Te has enfrentado?
Why? I don't. So this is like Doritos Spain chose this thing to be a spokesman for some new Dorito brand that came out. They have since reversed course on it, called significant flack for it, obviously, and have they've changed their mind and pulled the which this is what makes it even more insane. I wish I could find a good. Damn it. There's got to be a good one. There's like a link that has like a collage of all of this like person's social media posts and like the unhinged, insane shit that he, she, it has said. I want to do hooligan things like putting a 12-year-old girl in the ass, and I hate women who are victims of rape and who turn to self-help centers to overcome their trauma. What heavy whores. Like there's this thing has said some fucking insane shit. And then like number one, how did Doritos for making this person their spokesperson for their new like whatever. And then the like the backlash and all of the stuff. And so then they've withdrawn it, but like, I mean, damage is done. There's going to be, I don't know if it'll be like Bud Light level, but there's going to be a significant pushback to Doritos for this. And also, like, why do they pick these, like, horrendously ugly psychopaths. Like there are good looking, normal, like well-behaved trannies out there who just
like Mark Metz,
who just do it right, like Mark, who just do life normally, and you would never suspect or know or have any reason to care.
Yeah.
Like, why do they always pick the most unhinged, weird, just like the ones that are
it's got to be, it has to be purposeful. It has to be purposeful. You can't make that mistake. That's not a mistake.
It's right. It's like, how do they always manage to find the one that's the most insane? Like,
okay, we got 5 viewers. Put in the chat right now. Is it a mistake or is it on purpose? Please, I want to know. We're doing a poll. We're doing a poll right now. Is it a mistake or is it on purpose? Because I think it's on purpose. I think it's completely 100% on purpose. They're doing it. I think they're doing it to get caught for the. They get more attention out of getting caught than they do just letting it go, or not, or just hiring a normal tranny, as you would say. Or we could just say Mark Metz. So what?
Normal tranny feels weird, but
I mean, like, okay, so like a even a 20, like a 2005 tranny rather than the 2024 tranny, like, you know, they're a little bit more normal then. I mean, that's how far we've come from in the world in the last 20 years. Like, we've gone from, like, now we're like going back to the old days saying, oh, I just wish we had the normal ones back. But yeah, they're doing it solely for the attention. That's why Bud Light hired Phil Mulvaney, was for the attention, because they got way more outrage bait over it, and their name was said way more because of that, rather than, I mean, who's going to talk about Doritos normally?
It doesn't feel like that one worked out very well, though, considering the.
Yeah, no, for them it didn't work out, but it's also like, how many times do you go back to that well? Like the Bud Light, and then there was 1 or 2 right after that. Now people are just like, oh, whatever. They don't care anymore. Because you went to the well one too many times. Right?
I don't know. There's a, speaking of the tranny stuff, there's a study out of Finland that kind of debunks a lot of some of the common trans narrative stuff, and it's pissing a lot of people off. I've got the study, and that's something that I'm working on for a future, either here or on my own show, but to talk about. It's I think June is going to be interesting this year. We saw, like, last year was the first year in a long time that we've seen like a legitimate pushback to Pride Month and all of the insane bullshit that goes on. And I think this year is going to be even more so in that direction. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the way things continue to progress. It almost feels like the world is becoming slightly less retarded.
Maybe.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.